So again, yes, Yahweh will deliver you. And I apologize about the interruption. Yes, Yahweh will deliver you. Anytime you need help, all you have to do is ask him. And you commit it to him. You give it over to him. And every single day you give it over to him. And you ask for his help, no matter what it is. No matter how strong that stronghold is. No matter how strong that addiction is. You ask him for help. You ask him for help and he will help you. I am a witness, he will. There is nothing too hard for God. Nothing. I don't care what the doctors say. I don't care what the scientists say. I don't care what the philosophers say. I don't care what psychologists say. I don't care what any of them say. There is nothing too hard for God. Nothing. And there is nothing that he will not deliver you from if you ask him. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. For those of you that are struggling with this gender confusion, that is something that you need to be delivered from. That is something you need to be delivered from. That is something that you need to put before Yahweh. If you're saved and you're having this issue with it and you're like, Lord, I know this doesn't line up with you, but the enemy keeps taunting you and telling you that you are supposed to be opposite of what God created you to be. That is confusion. And we know who the author of that is. Don't let him deceive you. Don't let him deceive you. You ask for Yahweh's help in that. Don't end your life for that. For anything. Don't you dare sit there and commit suicide. You say no one understands you. Yahweh understands you. Yahweh is right there. He wants to take it from you. He wants to take that stronghold from you. But he can't do it unless you give it to him. He's a gentleman. He only intervenes when you ask. He only interferes when you ask. So you ask him for help. That is not of Yahweh. Gender confusion is not of Yahweh. Homosexuality is not of Yahweh. If you are struggling in these areas, you commit it to him. He will take it away from you. I promise you he will. You just keep on asking until he does. Until he does. He will deliver you. He will deliver you because he is a deliverer. That's what he does. And when he does the things, he does it excellently. When he does something, he does it excellently. You say, oh, well, that's just how God made me. No, it's not. Yahweh didn't make anything that contradicts his word. Man shall not lie with man. Yahweh did not create homosexuality. That was a perversion created by the enemy because he knew it went against Yahweh's divine order. Yahweh created Adam and Eve, man and woman. That is the only union that Yahweh supports in him. Now, that being said, if you have a long-term relationship and you are cohabitating with someone, that is not of Yahweh either if you are not married. If you are not married, I don't care what common law says. I don't care what common law says. You can be together 30 years. If you have not come together in a union as husband and wife before Yahweh, then you too are out of alignment with what Yahweh wills. If you are cohabitating, if you are living with someone and sleeping with this person and that is not your husband or your wife, then you are in error. You are wrong in that. And this is not to pass judgment. This is because too many people in the world are petting you, telling you, oh, well, that's all right. And they're bending the laws according to the customs of people. That is not all right in the eyes of Yahweh. I don't care what the law dictates. I don't care what this government says. If it does not line up with the will of Yahweh, it is not of him. He does not contradict his word. That's where confusion comes in at. And like I said earlier, we know who the author of confusion is. If you are over here and you were born a man, but you feel as though you were a woman, that does not line up with Yahweh. You need to repent and ask Yahweh to help you, especially if you've already started the journey, the chapter of changing yourself. You're making yourself opposite of what Yahweh wanted you to be. You're over here being a man transitioning into a woman. That was not Yahweh's will. If he wanted you to be a woman, he would have created you as a woman from the beginning. He would have given you the all of the equipment that he would have wanted you to have from the beginning if he wanted you to be a woman. Your body would have been designed in alignment to be a woman from birth. And just because you change your birth certificate does not mean that that is from birth. Legally, they made it so where you can change your birth certificate. So if you were born a man, you can say that you were born a woman on your birth certificate. That does not line up with Yahweh and his will. If he created you to be a man, then you're supposed to stay a man. And you're supposed to be a heterosexual man as that. You were supposed to marry a woman. If he created you to be a woman, you were supposed to maintain being a woman. And you are supposed to be a heterosexual woman. You're supposed to marry a man. If there is any confusion in there, you subject it to Yahweh. You surrender it to Yahweh. If there's any confusion, it is black and white. It is plain and simple. There are no gray areas with that. Now, if you are struggling with that, then I'm sorry that you're struggling with that. But you give it over to Yahweh. You surrender it over to him. You say, Yahweh, I don't like these thoughts. I'm having these thoughts of this. I'm having these thoughts of that. And it's coming on me so strong, Lord. And I need your help, Lord. It's confusing me, Lord. Then this is what you pray. These are your heartfelt prayers. And you cry out to Yahweh and you give it over to him. And every time you feel that urge, every time you hear the whisper of the enemy telling you that you're something that Yahweh did not create for you to be, then you give it over to Yahweh. You rebuke the devil. You rebuke him, you tell him that he's a liar, and you give it over to Yahweh. Stop fighting for these laws to change when it comes to these rights for the LGBTQ community. There shouldn't be an LGBTQ community. Yahweh did not create homosexuality. It was not for his will for men to be gay and for women to be lesbians. And y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. Y'all can try to taint the Bible as much as you want to try to taint it. Keep in mind, you're playing with fire. Stop conforming these laws to fit your lifestyles, to fit your perverted thoughts. That is not the way Yahweh intended it. Of course, the enemy is going to plant those thoughts in people's heads. It counteracts, it contradicts what Yahweh has set forth. Yahweh created man and woman. That is the union that he supports. The only union that he supports. Man and woman. Natural born man and natural born woman. He did not create this mess they got going on out here. That was not his will. Stop trying to say that it is. Stop trying to say that it is. It's not. And stop looking at us Christians that are pointing out your sin as though we are being judgmental. It is not my job to be judgmental. But if I see you headed in a path that leads to death and destruction, in a path that leads to hell, am I not supposed to tell you? If I see a brick wall that you are headed smack into, am I not supposed to warn you? Am I not? Or would you just rather me let you just hit it? Would you rather me let you die in that and you go to hell? And you cry out and you say, how come no one told me? You cannot say that. When it comes to the people that are living for Yahweh in this nation, that are pointing out what Yahweh is against, the sins that Yahweh is against. Yahweh is against homosexuality. He is against gender confusion. He is against the transgender mentality. You bring those things under the subjection of Yahweh. You lay it at his feet. You say, Lord, I can't deal with this anymore. Lord, I need you to take this thought from me. Don't you dare end your life for that, for anything. Don't you dare commit suicide because you feel no one loves you and no one understands you. Yahweh loves you. He loves you. And he doesn't want you to die and go to hell because of what you're choosing to do. He doesn't want you to die and go to hell because of what you are subjecting yourself to. The enemy will lie you right to hell. He will whisper in your ear until you die and go to hell. That's what he wants. You don't get it? He is on a mission and an assignment to take as many souls to hell with him as possible. That is his only goal. That is his only goal. And for you Satanists out there, I just don't understand it. But Yahweh told me that the enemy deceived y'all. I don't know what kind of lies he told you. But his only goal, he doesn't like you. He doesn't love anyone. He hates everyone. It doesn't matter what you do for him. The devil does not love you. It doesn't matter how much dirt you do for him. He hates you because Yahweh created you. That is why he is setting you up to take a fall that you will not be able to recover from. He hates you. He wants you to die and go to hell with him. He knows that's where he's going. Have you ever heard the term misery loves company? He wants you to die and go to hell. That is his assignment. That is his purpose. That's what he wants to have happen. But you don't have to. You do not have